Hey there, Ralph Covert here. Welcome to Water Dog. Welcome to my songwriting class. Today I want to talk about rhyming. Yeah, rhyming. It's wonderful, it's exasperating, and it's kind of weird. I mean, why do we rhyme? I mean, using words that sound the same as other words, we don't talk like that. Why would we write songs like that? Why would we write poems like that? It just seems kind of weird. Well, there's a good reason for it. It actually we're genetically hardwired to do it, to be honest. Rhyming and meter are deeply built into us as a species as ways of our oral tradition. So what's oral tradition? If you need to find information, where do you get it from? Well, you go on the internet, right? Well, the internet has only been around 20, 30 years. Before the internet, well, you went to a library, looked in a book. Yeah, books have only been around about 500 years. Our species has been around for 1,000,000 years. So in the evolutionary lifespan of our species, this microphone stand is our species coming through history. The dust on the top of this microphone stand is kind of the recent history of the last 500 years of having books. Okay, so before that, information was important, and as it is now, but it was preserved by memorizing it. And you memorized it. One of the ways to help memorize it was to put things in meter and have rhymes at the end to help those people pass along that important information. So the good news is we are genetically hardwired to be songwriters. That just means we need to unlock those skills that are there inside of you. And you'll be the songwriter you were born to be. What I want to do today is talk about an overview of some things having to do with rhyming. And then I've got a couple other videos where I'm going to really go in depth about some of these topics. The three things I want to cover today are rhyme schemes, that is the patterns that lines rhyme in. And I'm going to talk about the types of rhymes. There's more rhymes than just the ones at the end of a line. And even those, there's some variations. And then I want to talk about some exercises and tips and things you can do to build your rhyming skills and develop your rhyming muscle so you can be a fully buff songwriter. Now, when I say rhyme scheme, what do I mean? Well, I mean the convention for describing rhyming patterns would be to say if something is an A rhyme, the first line rhymes with the second line. So the first line might be, there once was a very small cat who was wearing a silly red hat. So cat and hat rhyme. It's an AA rhyme scheme. That's kind of the most common rhyming pattern. AA, BB, CC, DD. You have rhyming couplets. Or something was AAAAA, BBBBB. It gets harder because there's less words to rhyme, so you're more trapped into finding words that rhyme. But a good simple structure would be AABB. An example of an AABB line would be the verse of my song, One Perfect Moment. So it's maybe we don't belong together. I won't tell if you won't worry. There's time enough for time to tell what's going on. I'm in no hurry. So worry and hurry. It's an AA rhyme. Another very common rhyme, to give you an idea, would be an AB rhyme. And this kind of, so the first line rhymes with the third line, and the second line rhymes with the fourth line. To go back to our silly poem, there once was a tiny black cat who was wearing a silly red scarf. He sat down and put on a hat, and just like a dog said, "Arf, arf." brilliant poem, I know, but the point being hat, scarf, cat, scarf, hat, arf was the rhyme scheme there, right? So why would you do that? The brain kind of expects, maybe as a hardwired thing, it expects the AA rhyme. So when you got to that scarf, your brain was kind of already jumping ahead, filling in maybe hat, because hat rhyme with cat. But one of the ways we keep our listeners engaged are things that move against their expectations. So an A-B rhyme moves against their expectation of an A-B rhyme. So you're creating a little tension, a little change from what they might be expecting. And then you pay it off with the third line, and then you pay it off again with the end. So an example of a song that uses that might be a verse of my song Statue by the Phone, which the... Maybe she's looking for my number. Maybe she's looking for it everywhere. She could break this spell I'm under. I could come to life if I knew she cared. So, number, everywhere, under, care. So A-B rhyme scheme. And there's lots of different variations you can make. And also not rhyming is an equally valid tool that you can use. Not every line has to rhyme. A very common rhyme scheme is kind of similar to the A-B, but the two A's don't rhyme. So A-B-C-B. Happens all the time. Really what's important in that is the B and the D, the second and fourth lines, those rhyme. Kind of gives that sense of completion. But again, they don't have to rhyme. I've got another video where I'm really going to deal into a bunch of different variations of that, show how you can use these rhymes to build and structure your songs. Different types of rhymes. So rhymes happen at the end, but they can also happen in the middle. Have internal rhymes. You can have rhymes that are both pure and exact. You can also have rhymes that are less pure and exact, and get away with it is fine, you know? I mean, like in Statue by the Phone, she's looking for my number, trying to break the spell I'm under. Well, that's not a perfect pure rhyme, but it's close enough that you're not going to stop dancing and go, oh, that line just didn't rhyme perfectly. No, it's all good. So there's also alliteration, which is where the sounds happen at the beginning of the words. There's lots of rhyming and the way words kind of bounce off each other. There's a lot of great tips and techniques you can do with that. I've got a video, I've got a song called The Rhyming Circus that I just threw every rhyming trick I could at. And I'm looking forward to that video, sharing that with you. Lots of types of rhymes you can use. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about techniques and exercises. Certainly a great way to build and work on your rhyming is writing songs, right? Every song you write, you're practicing rhyming, and that's fantastic. If you want to, one way to practice that if you're stumped is to take a song you know and, a folk song or any kind of a song and put new words that fit into the rhythm and rhyme and structure of that existing melody. I have a video that I did called Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, where I kind of showed a little bit how you can do that as part of talking about gibberish. But it's a great technique. Bob Dylan actually wrote a lot of songs, especially early on in his career. It's one of the techniques that he likes to use. He will take a song, he'll learn the song, and then he will write lyrics that fit the meter and rhyme of that song. and then he'll have brand new words that have nothing to do with that song, and then he'll change the melody so that he has a new melody that has nothing to do with the original melody. And it was one of the ways that he developed as a songwriter, using existing lines and rhymes, patterns, as a way of generating his skills and his ideas. So, I mean, if Bob Dylan can do it, you're allowed to do it. Another great exercise, and I'll go into this in depth, is writing poetry. There's some specific types of poetry that can be really helpful just as almost like calisthenics for your lyric writing, finding words that fit meter. Limericks can be a great tool because they're kind of fun and silly. In my class, I have assigned people to write limericks. And then iambic pentameter, which is the kind of pattern speech that Shakespeare uses and was common in Elizabethan times, is really great as a tool for learning how to combine words into the kind of patterns that fit meter and thus fit melodies. And when you start doing that, and then you start writing sonnets, and again, I'll dive really hard into that in another video. It's a great tool and technique to develop those skills because you start flexing your muscles on how to find the right words to fit and how to find the right words to rhyme. Certainly one good tip for you with rhyming is pick, like in an AA rhyme, pick the second word first. Work backwards from the second word, because the newer, the more recent, okay, in the line, the first line, the second line. If the first word you choose is the second rhyme, then generally the second rhyme you choose is the more artificial, or it's the harder to find the right word. And so if the natural sounding word is the one that you come up with first and use that for the second line, then it'll pay off as natural. Does that make sense? So a great rhyming tool when you're rhyming a couplet is figure out what your second word is going to be first, and then come up with a line that gets you to that first rhyme. All right, so I want to end here with a song to show off some of these things that we've talked about. Song Promises in the Dark, off the bat, is a beautiful album. The verses are kind of an AA rhyme or kind of an A, B, C, B rhyme, depending on how long you think the line is. Like, first verse would be 23 and living in the city. I saw a long-legged blonde on Friday night. It was a head-on collision of passion. We made a wild-eyed, loose-lipped love all night. So if you think of it as a long line, the ite rhyme, night. The chorus has a B, C, B rhyme scheme. So the second line and the fourth line rhyme. But the third line has an internal rhyme. So it's got rhymes with itself in the middle. So, hey, hey, my, what's the story? How can you say I broke your heart? Someone as old as you should never look for the truth and promises made in the dark. So, story stands alone as a rhyme. Then, heart is the B line, right? Someone old as you, look for the truth. And then promises made in the dark. So they're professional rhymes, right? They're not perfect rhymes, but that's the rhyme scheme. The dark rhymes with heart, and the third line rhymes in the middle. And what else? I guess that's the stuff to listen for in the song. Anyway, thanks for watching. Here we have Promises in the Dark. I was 23 and living in the city. I met a long-legged blonde on Friday night. It was a head-on collision of passion. We made a wild-eyed, loose-lipped love all night. On Saturday, we went out dancing. Let me try that again, but that's a little more energy, right? Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So I want to end with a song that kind of ties a bunch of these things together. My song Promises in the Dark. The verses have it's kind of a long line, but it's like an A rhyme pattern. So you'll hear that. The chorus is kind of interesting. It has a B, C, B rhyme scheme. So the second line and the fourth line rhyme. In this case, it's the word heart and dark. And the third line actually has an internal rhyme. So interesting little variation. You'll hear someone as old as you should never look for the truth. So there's that internal rhyme to kind of keep the song, I don't know, it works, right? So you'll listen for that. Thanks for listening. And I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. So here we go. Promises in the Dark off the Bad is Beautiful album. Goes like this. I was 23 and living in the city. I met a long-legged blonde on Friday night. It was a head-on collision of passion. We made a wide-eyed, loose-lip love all night. On Saturday, we went out dancing. I could see she wanted to be free. She said, darling, I'm sorry to leave you this way. I said, how can you walk out on me? She said, hey, my, what's the story? How can you say I broke your heart? Someone as old as you should never look for the truth. And promises made in the dark. Well, I went back to her apartment. I waited all night in my car. When she got there, I said, hey, you can't take him to bed. She said, who in the hell do you think you are? Hey, my, what's the story? How can you say I broke your heart? Someone as old as you should never look for the truth. Promises made in the dark. Here's the solo. You can play it at home. I know you wanna. Oh yeah. When her boyfriend pulled out a revolver, I just smiled and I said my farewells. Love can take you to the sun, love can take you to the moon. It's not worth getting you killed. Hey, my, what's the story? How can you say I broke your heart? Someone as old as you should never look for the truth. Promises made in the dark. Hey, my, what's the story? How can you say I broke your heart? Someone as old as you should never look for the truth. Promises made in the dark. Thanks for watching. Happy writing.
Maybe we don't belong together. I won't tell if you won't worry. There's time enough for time to